watch him. But the fact that as you look at his minor league record, the biggest home run season he had was 9 and 450 at-bats in 2013 in Quad Cities, Ash.
I find that he's such an exceptional athlete that he reacts better than most guys by a wide margin. And though there's a thinking process, obviously, that's involved in what goes on as a hitter, when you can react to the slider as he did for the first of the 2 home runs yesterday, when you can react to the pitch that was working in toward the hands for the home run hit to center field yesterday, you're seeing a guy that is just exceptionally better than other guys he's playing with. And I actually believe that Carlos Correa knew that's who he was coming into his major league career.
Alex Rodriguez was interviewed in a television interview this morning, and he mentioned Carlos Correa being possibly a first ballot Hall of Famer.
You know, they haven't put the ballots out yet, so I think they're going to take a little while, but I don't think there's any surprise to thoughts like that. Of course, playing a lot of games, the numbers will follow as he goes out there and plays, but you've got to stay healthy, and we've seen with a lot of guys that had great talent, it just didn't naturally work out that way. In the case of Carlos Correa, we all hope that is the case.
So the 21-year-old Correa and George Springer is 26, have their youthful fans here for the Astros at Yankee Stadium. Clouds there in the distance, but we are told it will be dry for the beginning of this game. The lineups are being presented right now at home plate. We'll have the anthem momentarily and get underway. The scheduled time is 3:15 start time Central Time for A.J. Hinch and the Astros, who are flying on to Milwaukee after this game. It'll be Scott Feldman and Chase Anderson pitching tomorrow night with 6:30 our pregame airtime tomorrow night in Milwaukee, where it's supposed to be quite a bit colder than it is here in New York, but no weather concerns because of the roof at Miller Park, Ash.
I think it's going to be just fine for us there. I don't know how much it'll warm up inside compared to what it is outside, but it will be better, I assure you and myself, than what we faced the first couple of days here at the Yankee Stadium.
Colin McHugh and A.J. Hinch talk it over. Colin really had the most difficult start of his career last night, lasting 1/3 of an inning. Michael Feliz worked 4 1/3 innings of relief, throwing 107 pitches, and that's the reason he's now on his way to the minor leagues, swapping out a roster spot in the bullpen with Chris Davinsky. Davinsky, by the way, was not on the 40-man roster. He was promoted to get him on the roster today, and that meant that somebody had to come off the 40-man, and that was right-handed pitcher Danny Reynolds. But it's a matter of keeping that long man available, so Davinsky, when he arrives, will go into that slot in the bullpen.
Obviously, you don't know what's going to happen with today's game, so you've got to have a guy that's ready for that kind of a spot. And I think even as it is, Mike Fiers is probably being told, hey, we're going to need you for at least 5, maybe 6 innings today, and if things get a little bit rough and you stay out there, you have to understand the reason why. There's nothing new about it. It's gone on in baseball for a long, long time, but a manager has to rely on a guy in certain circumstances to go out and provide those innings.
Well, on that very cold day when the season opened on Tuesday, the Astros won at 5-3, and Dallas Keuchel went 7, so that really helped the bullpen, only needing 2 innings from that pen. But yesterday, quite a different story. So the Astros hope to fire out offensively to back Mike Fiers, no pun intended, as he goes against the Yankees for the first time in his career. And the Yankees have taken the field. We'll be getting the national anthem and be right back with the first pitch. Yankee Stadium, ready to get this one started. It's the rubber game of this three-game series. The Astros won 5-3 in the opener Tuesday. The Yankees rebounded for a 16-6 thumping of Houston last night. So now the deciding game with the game in Detroit starting at 1:10 tomorrow for the Yankees. They'll be traveling, as will the Astros, on to Milwaukee. We check the Astros starting lineup now, and it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve is once again in the leadoff spot at second base with George Springer in right field. Carlos Correa is the shortstop. Correa has started the season 5 for 9 with 3 homers. Colby Rasmus, the cleanup man, is the left fielder with Carlos Gomez in center field. Luis Valbuena at third base. Tyler White at first base. Preston Tucker the DH. Eric Kratz gets his first start as an Astro, and he's behind the plate.
On the mound for the Yankees, right-hander Nate Eovaldi hails from the Houston area. Guy who has a big-time fastball, went 14-3 last year. Did it primarily with run support. He had provided for him over 7 runs per game, and that does come in handy a little bit. You see, he's a graduate of Alvin High School, again in that Houston area. Has a splitter that can be his go-to pitch, trying to work on improving his slider.
Well, his fastball is high octane. It averaged 96.7 miles per hour last year. Second highest velocity in the majors, behind Noah Syndergaard of the Mets. But he can rely on those other weapons as well that you talked about. And he is 26 years old, one of the extreme hard throwers who went to Alvin High School south of Houston. He had committed to Texas A&M before he signed. The Dodgers drafted him in the 11th round in 08. He was traded to Miami in 2012, and then the Yankees got him after the 2014 season in a deal with Miami, along with Garrett Jones, Domingo Germán for David Phelps and Martin Prado. And he has done well in a Yankee uniform. You mentioned the 14-3 record last year. The year before for Miami, he was 6-14 with just about the same ERA he had with New York last year, and that's that run support you talked about making the difference. Now it's Jose Altuve leading it off. 2 for 7 to open the season with a double. And the sun comes out right before the first pitch. He shoots the fastball on a line to right field, and it's caught. 1 pitch, 1 out. Carlos Beltran there. Well hit ball by Altuve.
That's the guy you want to see, whether it's first pitch or later in the count. A guy that squares it up like Altuve did, and going the other way on top of that.
George Springer hit his first career major league grand slam last night, and it was the first in the majors in 2016. He is 2 for 9 in this series. George's family gets a chance to come up and see him with the short trip from Connecticut. Up the middle, Didi Gregorius just nips him at first on a close play.
I think Rich Dower, the first base coach, instantly pointed toward the Astros dugout to take a peek at this one. That consideration for whether you want to contest that call. Let's take our peek. Well, that's really close, isn't it?
You bet.
Mattress Firm with the slow-mo, and they do such a great job. I don't know. What am I seeing there?
Looked like the throw just barely beat him by a fraction.
That is what I think we all, including the guys down in the Astros clubhouse and dugout, saw.
Gregorius had a little pause there before he could get that throw off. Carlos Correa hit a couple of monster home runs last night. He becomes the first Astro to open a season with 3 homers in his first 2 games, taking strike 1. 556 for his first 2 games. He lays off there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I think Mike Fiers would like to have that pitch today.
Bet. Carlos had 4 hits last night with the 2 homers, reminiscent of his playoff game against Kansas City last year. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Ronnie, I was talking about what the Yankees book might be on Correa right now. Based on the setup of their catcher in this sequence, McCann setting up in until now, and I think they maybe want to see the ball in on the hands.
That was rocked out to center field. Ellsbury at the wall with a leap, and he robs him. Right near the 385 sign in right center. Ellsbury left his feet and caught it for out number 3. The Yankees come up against Mike Fiers after this Ellsbury gem in just a moment. Astros went out 1-2-3. Nate Eovaldi did not need many pitches there in the first inning. He got the first 2 outs on 2 pitches. Now the Yankees come up with this starting lineup for Joe Girardi, beginning his 9th season as a Yankee skipper. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off in center field. Brett Gardner's in left with Alex Rodriguez the DH. Mark Teixeira cleans it up at first base with Brian McCann the catcher. Carlos Beltran in right field. Chase Headley at third base. Starlin Castro the second baseman. Didi Gregorius at shortstop.
And on the mound for the Astros, making that first start of the season, right-hander Mike Fiers picked up the no-hitter last year, became a kind of a legend quickly in Houston. Went 7-10 overall on his year, that between the Brewers and the Astros. Good ERA at 3.69, and made the last 9 starts with the Astros, pitching very well in that span. 2-1, but a fine ERA at 3.32. Throws hard, but not as hard as it might appear. That riding fastball up gives hitters a tough time.
This is his first career appearance against the Yankees, and Ellsbury shortens up on it. Takes strike 1. Ellsbury 1 for 9 to open the season. Valbuena's on the grass at third base. Tyler White even with the bag at first. In the air to left field, where Colby Rasmus awaits. 1 down. Mike Fiers' last outing came at home against Milwaukee to wrap up the spring. He had no decisions and a 4.91 ERA in spring training. Since he made his major league debut in 2011, he's 9th among all major league pitchers in strikeouts per 9 innings, 9.09. Brett Gardner is looking for his first hit, but he got a career high 4 walks in the game last night. He looks at strike 1.
Good early command from Mike Fiers.
Gardner looks at that one. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count. The Yankees drew 7 walks last night to the Astros 1. Boy, that looked like a pretty good pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Ed Hickox ruled it ball 2.
Little peek at our MD Anderson strike zone, and where is that? There's some ball on that bottom edge of the knees, and you'd love to get that as a pitcher. Brownie, you'd make a heck of an umpire.
From here, yeah, it's a different perspective, isn't it?
Well, why don't they put the umpires right here then, and we'll go down and do the game from behind the plate.
Oh, but the injury risk would be too high for a lot of us. 3-1 to count. A lot of guys would be bailing. And that fastball is rolled foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Actually, it's been talked about in some areas because of the electronic advances in baseball. Do you think it will ever come to balls and strikes being called not by an umpire standing behind the catcher?
No, I don't. I can't envision them taking that aspect of the game away. I think there are some fans who come out to the ballpark just to boo the umpires.
It's tough to boo a computer.
Yes, it is.
Foul back off the screen.
Although I think we've all been tempted at one time or another.
Yeah, we've probably all done that, and then more than that. Alex Rodriguez on deck. Joe Girardi's club trying to gain this second win of the season right here at home before taking off on its first road trip. Altuve comes in for the slow bouncer. 2 outs. By the way, the story came out today that Joe Girardi never really filed the paperwork on a protest, even though the announcement came during that game on Tuesday, the opener, that he was protesting the game, and the home plate umpire Dana DeMuth drew that P in the air that umpires draw when managers say they're protesting the game. The reason is that it was an umpire's judgment call, and that cannot be protested. Alex Rodriguez 0 for 6 to open the season. He's drawn 3 walks in this series.
As it turns out, if there was a misinterpretation of the rule book, it was by the skip Joe Girardi himself. And I think most of us who have played the game have been under the same impression that Joe Girardi was under.
And now he's talking about maybe we need to work on that in spring training and instruct our pitchers to we'll set up a dummy around first base to represent the base runner and throw that into that base runner to get a call. 1-1, but have to agree with Joe. Well, you hate to work on plays involving drilling a base runner. You know, the potential risk of injury would be there, certainly.
If I may say, the reason that so many guys, especially catchers, may have been misinformed is it's what the umpires have told us through the years.
Yeah, that's been a consistent story. 2 balls, 1 strike.
But there's one guy who seemed to know, and that's A.J. Hinch.
Rodriguez puts it in the air out to center field. Carlos Gomez waiting, and it's a 1-2-3 first for both right-handers.
Minute Maid Park every Friday night home game with the best fireworks show in town. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Back at Yankee Stadium in Monument Park, where 37 members of the Yankees organization is honored right here. Also 22 numbers retired. You saw some of those just a second ago, and of course these huge plaques with some of the legends. So many greats in this organization. If you get a chance to come out to this ballpark, make sure you get here early and check this out. How about Lou Gehrig, though, behind me, considered one of the best first basemen of all time. The Astros had a pretty good one too, and Jeff Bagwell coming up later. We're going to compare some of his stats with the great Lou Gehrig as well as Babe Ruth, guys.
Thanks, Julia. There is strike one to Colby Rasmus, leading it off in a scoreless game. Second inning underway for Nate Eovaldi. Rasmus 2 for 6 with 2 walks to open the season. So it was a 6-pitch first inning. This fastball fouled away, and Eovaldi can pop that fastball in the upper 90s for 5 or 6 innings. And now he's trying to stretch it out and go deeper in games by using those off-speed pitches you talked about earlier, Ash.
Vastly different velocities between the two pitchers, with Eovaldi on the high-end side, but the same types of results.
It's 1-2. Yankees used only 2 pitchers last night in their 16-6 win. Michael Pineda went 5, and Ivan Nova went the final 4 to get a save.
There's that little slider that Eovaldi said he really wanted to work on after last season. It's a pitch he's had all along, but wanted to improve upon.
He threw 154 innings, and he was shut down in September with right elbow inflammation. He gets the corner with strike 3 call. Eovaldi's made 3 starts against the Astros, 1-0 with a 0.90 ERA.
Brought out the little fine edge paintbrush right there and used it well.
Yeah, they really have not solved him in those 3 matchups. Carlos Gomez looks for his first hit, 0 for 8 to open the season. He is 3 for 9 in his career against Eovaldi. Bouncer goes foul. Well, Tuesday was an extremely cold day. Last night a little bit warmer. Today warmer still.
You going to get loose tonight for your sprint from airplane to bus?
Well, we're hearing that the temperature might be 22 degrees overnight in Milwaukee. There may be snow overnight. It's not of any concern because of the roof on Miller Park, and quite reassuring to know that there will be some warmth inside the ballpark.
Again, airport to bus and bus to hotel. Be ready.
It's nice to have stadiums up north with roofs this time of year. Falling down on the swing, Gomez now is at 1-2 in the count.
Remember what I was saying in that talk about how do you stop a team like Kansas City, a good fastball hitting team? When they're guessing fastball and get it, you mess them up with location.
Yeah.
No doubt Carlos was looking heater. He got a heater, but it came up and in instead of through the heart of the plate. You start the bat too early and you're just wasted at that point.
And the slider gets him. It's 5 in a row set down by Eovaldi. Luis Valbuena comes up next. 2 for 8 with 2 runs batted in. That came on a 2-run single Tuesday. And that fastball fouled away. Looks like the Astros hitters are really geared to hit that high octane fastball today.
Were they geared for 100 miles an hour? That's what that last heater was.
It's hard to gear for that. Since the Astros moved to the American League, they've gone 10-11 against the Yankees.
That's pretty effective right there. And that's a splitter, by the way, at 91. That's possibly harder than any fastball from Mike Fiers might be recorded today.
Eovaldi worked 199 innings in his final year with Miami, 2014. And he gave up 223 hits that year. 2 balls and a strike.
See those velocities on splitters, and there's some guys that throw good ones. Eovaldi throws the hardest, 88 typically. We've just seen a couple at 91. Wow.
Yeah, his secondary pitches look pretty sharp.
Oh, that was a wiffle ball sailing.
It was.
Right to left. This looks like Kerry Wood on the one-hitter day up in Wrigley. I don't know, what's that been, almost 18, 20 years ago now?
That was 98. Yeah. Well, did you see any highlights of Jose Fernandez, who pitched for Miami last night?
A little bit.
Boy, he has that big breaking slider, and he's a right-handed pitcher. He'll throw the ball right at the right-handed hitter, and it's got a big break to it.
I don't know what the chances of the Marlins might be this year, but they need him if they're going to fulfill any expectations.
Off the plate. Full count to Valbuena now. Julia, by the way, gave you that phone number. Here's that last pitch. And you see how far that mitt moved for McCann. We'll get back to that next point after this pitch. Valbuena fouls it. It's 1-877-9 Astros. If you're looking for probably some single tickets that remain standing room only for next Monday night when the Astros have their home opener against the defending world champion Kansas City Royals. 1-877-9 Astros. If you're only looking for a ticket, or maybe you can find a couple somewhere because it is standing room only. Fouled away.
A couple of fastballs at 99 from Eovaldi. He's feeling it right now. This is the kind of stuff that you do go back to the bench and guys will start saying, hey, what do you think? Chance of a no-hitter today?
Very crisp. That's out to center field. Ellsbury way back on the run. That was in for extra bases, and he plays the carom off the wall. Valbuena with a great at bat, and he drilled it some 400 feet away for his first double.
Never quite got to the fastball, only able to get a piece and foul it off. Little backdoor effort on a slider. Finds some of the plate, and that's where the barrel was found. And the chances of the no-no have diminished greatly.
He didn't pull off that pitch. Boy, he stayed with it.
Valbuena looks very good with the bat now in this early series in New York.
3-game hitting streak to open the season. And it's Tyler White following him. Good cut, fouling it straight back, strike one. White is 3 for 5 as a major leaguer. He got a pinch hit on opening day and then got his first major league start last night. Went 2 for 4 with a double and a single. On the big stage, he has done really well. He was only the 6th Astro in history to get his first major league hit on opening day. First since James Mouton, opening day '94. Out to left center field and deep. Ellsbury way back, leaping, and Tyler White goes off. Home run number 1 as a major leaguer for Tyler White. 2-0 Houston. What a thrill.
He is going to be a thrill to watch. He's quickly answering questions about how he might fare as a hitter in the big leagues. Now this is great stuff. The splitter stayed up, found some plate, but you still have to do something with it, and Tyler White had plenty to do to it.
3-game hitting streak for him to open his career. Preston Tucker with ball 1. Tucker's 2 for 5. Both of his hits have been doubles. That was a massive blow to left center field. It's more than 400 feet out there. Fouled away, and it's 1-1. The 2-out rally started. Valbuena working the count full and driving the ball to the base of the wall in right center, and then White delivering the 2-run homer to left center field. The Astros' 5th homer of the young season.
One of the keys when you get a youngster coming to the big league swinging the bat like this is, as a manager, simply learn how to spell his name correctly and get it in there every day in that lineup.
2 balls and a strike. Eovaldi last year surrendered 10 homers in 154 innings. Three and 1.
And those are good numbers. You go about 1 per 9-10 innings. You're doing well.
Yeah. You know, Tucker's had some really good at bats in this series, Ash.
Right on the money. Even a couple of outs he's made. A line drive to left, a ground ball sharply hit on the right side, have been good looking at bats.
Fastball fouled. It's a full count on Preston. The Yankees won the first 5 series they played with the Astros. The Astros have won the last 2. New York has an overall edge in the all-time series of 19-11. Foul ball right by Rich Dower. Keeps the count at 3-2.
Talk about good at bats. With a fastball that's run already in the inning up to 100 miles an hour. We've seen 99s and 98s. Preston Tucker stays right on that splitter and stays alive as he fouls one on the ground. It's tough to do.
A.J. Hinch and his bench coach Trey Hillman talk it over. Tucker hangs alive with another foul ball. It was only a 6-pitch first inning, but now Eovaldi has been extended more in the second with a total of 33 in the game so far. He threw the ball very well this spring. Tucker clocks one. There's a drive. And Preston Tucker has hit one into the second deck. Back-to-back homers. Number 1 of 2016 for Tucker makes it 3-0 Houston.
That was a no doubt shot. He got a slider that he just destroyed. And again, the at-bats have been about as good as you can see anywhere around the major leagues that Preston Tucker has been putting up. This is impressive from a couple of the young guys in the lineup.
Now the 7 and 8 hitters going back to back. 3-0. Right fielder Carlos Beltran didn't even move on that one. Complete no doubter from Tuck. He picks up his first RBI. Eric Kratz was 0 for 1 in last night's game. And there's strike 1 to him. Jason Castro caught the first 2 games. Kratz was acquired from the Padres for right-handed pitcher Dan Straley March 28th. Well-traveled veteran catcher getting a shot with Max Stassi opening on the disabled list. 0-2 to Kratz.
It was a brief but outstanding shot of Preston Tucker going to hitting coach Dave Hudgens in the dugout, and it looked to me like one of those moments where the hitter is saying, hey, you know what you told me about such and such? That's what happened.
Now, these guys are well prepared. Eric Kratz, 35 years old, has had 515 major league at bats, a .218 average, 23 homers. It's a foul ball. We have his nickname as Turkey Bacon.
Turkey Bacon.
Yeah. Oh,
not an off-used nickname.
Those legs really get into the swing, Ash.
Man, he's strong. just a fire plug of a guy, and that swing is honed for the moment.
Fastball fouled away. Yeah, his nickname Turkey Bacon. Eric Kratz appeared in a TV commercial for a talking bird.
I'll be back in an inning or so. You've got me hungry now.
He's got to be a fun guy if he did that, right?
Yeah.
Interesting that Brian McCann is starting all 3 games in this series, but presumably he would not start tomorrow in Detroit. They have a 1:10 start, so probably their backup catcher Austin Romine will get the call in that one.
Sometimes it comes down this time of year to how well you're swinging the bat on top of things, and if you're feeling good, you say, hey Skip, don't worry about it, I'm good to go.
That's a good point. 1-2. Let's see who they're facing in Detroit.
What did you want me to catch this year? 135, 140 games. Push that up to 150, 155, and we got a deal.
Yeah. Well, it's Jordan Zimmerman for Detroit tomorrow against Luis Severino.
That might not be a bad day for an off day.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that Tiger Club has Zimmerman, Mike Pelfrey, Justin Verlander lined up for the weekend against the Yankees. The Astros will see Chase Anderson, Willie Peralta, and Jimmy Nelson in Milwaukee. Grounded to short, Gregorius throws out Kratz. It started with 2 outs. Valbuena doubled, then rode home on this long blast. Tyler White's first major league homer made it 2-0. And then on a 3-2 pitch, here's Tucker going deep to the second deck in right. 3-0 Houston. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Lexus. The new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide. 3-0 Astros, bottom of the second. Mark Teixeira. Mike Fiers throwing strike 1, trying to prevent him from sending a text message, as he did last night with home run number 1 of the season. He's driven in 4, going 2 for 7.
Ooh, that's good.
1-1. Yeah, the guy who came up with that description, John Sterling, the radio voice of the Yankees, was over here visiting before the game today.
TEX message, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Fouled away, and it's 1-2. Well, just talking with some people who follow the Yankees, Ash, we've talked about the turnover in their roster a little bit. They're getting younger. And that may continue beyond this year in that direction.
I like what they've done at second and short.
Yeah, with Castro and Gregorius, they could be teammates for a while. Punched, and that's going to be a fair ball and maybe extra bases. It's a long run for Colby Rasmus, but only a single as Colby gets there and prevents Teixeira from getting to second base.
Well,
excuse me, ground ball hit.
There's a case of a fastball eating up Mark Teixeira, getting in on the hands, and yet that little fight-off job produces the ground ball that finds the big hole.
That's some bad luck.
That's all it is. Yeah, if you took that swing in batting practice, the hitting coach would say, you know, you might want to rethink that, Hack.
Now Brian McCann, the shift on. He ricks on into right field, and that one will one-hop the wall. Be played by Springer. He drops it now, and Teixeira is stopped. It's only a single for McCann. Teixeira going first to third on the one-hopper off the right field wall.
Yeah, obviously Springer didn't handle the ball well in right field. It didn't cost him in the end. What cost the Yankees was their scouting report that says, number one, you don't send Mark Teixeira very often, and number two, you don't run on George Springer. There's that fancy hitting by Teixeira.
Boy, you know he had to love that. Now the shift remains on for Carlos Beltran. He is 3 for 8. He hit his first homer of the season last night as well. That's looped out into right field. Springer coming hard with the catch. Here's Teixeira holding, and it's a good cutoff by White because that throw was drifting outside the first baseline. He had to go snag it to prevent any further advance.
Our Lexus defensive rankings as we look at the outfield. Yes, there are a couple of stop, don't run them on him arms out there. George Springer and Carlos Gomez, and even Colby Rasmus is one of those outfielders that may not bring the heat, but he brings it accurately to the cutoff man, and that sets up a lot of assists. This play right here, I think what A.J. Hinch would say to George is don't hold the ball. Go ahead and throw it to your cutoff man. Get it back in as quickly as possible.
Chase Headley's the batter. The shift remains on for him. There's ball one for Mike Fiers. Headley's 1 for 7 with 1 RBI. Now the Yankees will have some decisions to make after this season, with Teixeira in the final year of his contract and Carlos Beltran also in the final year of his deal. That's a foul tip, and it's 1-1 to Headley. So they could really take some money off the books if they move on from those two guys. Two balls and a strike for Mike Fiers. Starlin Castro's on deck. He's driven in 7 runs in the first 2 games. Out to left field. Now Rasmus is backing on it with the catch. Here's Teixeira coming to the plate, and the throw all the way in, but offline. Throw back to first, not in time. The Yankees get a run on a sac fly by Headley to trail 3-1.
That's a must send already with 1 out, even with Teixeira's lack of speed at third base. This is where you have to send. Colby Rasmus forced back, but still cuts loose a pretty good throw. Now this is not a scenario where you have to hit the cutoff man. That's do or die. You just go ahead and launch it to the plate.
That's a good point. 3-1 game. Starlin Castro has 5 hits and 8 at bats, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in. That ties a Yankee record for the first 2 games. And that one moves him back, ball 1. So Castro joins the elite company of Yankees who have driven in 7 in the first 2 games of this season. Tino Martinez did it in '97. Yogi Berra did it in '56 and again in '60. And Babe Ruth did it in 1932.
You're talking MVP talk right there.
Castro looks at it, and it's 2-0. Well, Castro is a very talented player. The Yankees extremely happy to have him, but they had to give up pitcher Adam Warren to give him in that trade with the Cubs, to get him rather, and Warren was very helpful to their cause last year. That's in for a strike. Fire's moving the ball around. They thought they had a replacement for Adam Warren, who was a swingman. He could start or relieve, but Brian Mitchell, who was that replacement, had surgery on his left big toe, and he's going to be out about 4 months. So that may really hurt their pitching staff.
A bit of an unusual start for Mike Fiers, finding him down around the knees so consistently. Tends to live up there in the upper end of the strike zone.
Yeah. Mike is from South Florida, went to Nova Southeastern University. That's hit to left field and hit very well. It bangs off the wall. Here's Rasmus getting it into second base, and the tag by Altuve. They got him. Tremendous play to get Castro at second on what will be a single off the left field wall. He must have taken a detour. That's amazing. Rasmus got it back in, but it took him a while to get to second base.
Yankees thought about contesting that call at second base. In the end, they thought better of it, and really that is a whale of a play by Colby Rasmus. I thought, why is he throwing to second base? But wow, look at that. Jose Altuve stayed with it.
Colby Rasmus playing the ball extremely well off the wall and throwing out Castro.
It's a whale of a play from left field. Let's see what Castro was doing. He was not exactly jogging, but maybe not all out coming up that first base line, and that's what beats him in the end, along with the fact that Rasmus makes a good throw and Altuve stays with the play. Nicely done.
Big play in this game. Yankees getting a run on 3 hits. Now Altuve takes strike 1, leading off the 3rd inning. He lined out to right on the first pitch of the game by Eovaldi. Yankee pitchers had 10 strikeouts in each of their first 2 games against the Astros in this series. That's only the second time since 1913 they've done that in the first 2 games of a season. 0-2 now. Rolled over on it, and Altuve keeps the count at 0-2 strikes. It's an interesting story today about the origins of baseball. And there's been a discovery of a document, 1857 documents titled Laws of Baseball. They established the base paths at 90 feet, the length of the game 9 innings, and 9 players on the field 3 years earlier than what was thought to be the birth date of 1860.
Uh-oh, we've got a scandal.
Out into left center field, a long run. Ellsbury turning for it, gets there and makes the catch.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders, and in this league leader segment we're talking about George Springer and the way he was able to shave the strikeout rate down last year from the previous year. You can see he was #1 in this regard in the shave job, down 24.2% in year 2 from 33%, and that's a nice job by George. And part of that is just being around the league, able to hit the ball to right field, staying on the baseball more. But you see some other reasonable names in there. Xander Bogaerts, the guy who's, I think, destined to be an outstanding hitter.
It really is. Xander Bogaerts drove in 81 runs last year. Breaking pitch comes up and in for ball 1 to Springer. George grounded out, going for the first pitch in the first inning. And that's a close one, missing for ball 2. Yeah, apparently there were some documents that were sold, and they've unearthed a new father of baseball.
Uh-oh.
You've never heard of him?
No DNA involved here, huh?
No. Springer chased that one well off the plate. 2-1. He was patient on the first 2 pitches. Daniel Lucius Doc Adams replaces Alexander Cartwright as the founding father of America's pastime, according to this story.
There's a lot of commercials now say this changes everything.
2 balls and 2 strikes with Carlos Correa on deck. Bouncing up there now, a full count on George. So you saw the relationship between Springer cutting down on his strikeouts and enhancing his batting average and on base average last year. Substantial improvement for George in those departments. And a strikeout for Eovaldi. Number 3.
Well, Eovaldi certainly has strikeout stuff, and that slider has proven to be elusive today.
Very good pitch. Carlos Correa hit one to the center field wall. Ellsbury made a leaping catch. Last night he hit one off that glass facing of the sports bar above center field. So Eovaldi makes him move his feet. Ball 1. Correa hit it off that facing last night for his second home run of the game. He's only the second player in the history of this ballpark to hit a home run off that glass facing. Russell Branyan did it in 09 with Seattle.
He's taking a shot in his first at bat today for that Yankee bullpen. It came very close to getting it.
This is a tough park for a right-handed hitter, other than just down the line.
399 in left center can be Death Valley.
Now, the old Yankee Stadium was even bigger. 2-1.
You take it down the line, even to left field here, it's fine. But you get out in left center towards straightaway center, and it's tough.
The slider is fouled away. Now, you were remembering a play from your playing days in the old Yankee Stadium when they had the monuments out in center field and the ball could carry him around off those monuments. It was in play.
You have to go back to 1973 if I'm correct on that. And I had a teammate, Tommy Smith, a youngster, came up and hit a line drive over center fielder Bobby Mercer's head. Mercer had to turn and then battle with the monuments to pick the ball out of there. When it was all said and done, Tommy Smith had an inside the park home run, and I don't know, but it may have turned out to be his only major league dinger. But what a sight that was to see the ball rattle in amongst the monuments.
And in Old Forbes Field, they used to leave the batting cage in the outfield.
What was that, like 467 something?
Yeah,
it was enormous.
It was. Some of these ballparks of yesteryear, including the Polo Grounds, had massive distances to center field. Over 450 feet. Fouled away by Correa.
Well, I'll bet Joe Girardi and company with the Yankees are overly impressed with Carlos Correa right about now.
Yeah, they're aware of his strengths, that's for sure. He became the youngest visiting player with 2 homers in a game in New York against the Yankees since Manny Ramirez in '93. He's hit 25 homers in his first 101 games. But that is strike 3, and Eovaldi threw some tough pitches in a 1-2-3 third. Correa saying something to Ed Hickox, or asking a question perhaps. 3-1 Astros.
At Yankee Stadium, the Astros with the lead, and he's our pitching performance powered by Kubota. We're looking at last year. Comes over in a trade, has one rough outing in relief against the Rangers, and then from the 9th to the 29th of August, he made 4 starts with the Astros that were incredible, including the no-hitter you're seeing highlights of. But 4 starts, 2 on the road, 2 at home, only gave up 4 earned runs in that time. The team went 3-1. They needed pitching at this time last year, trying to make that playoff run. The offense was struggling at that time, and they were looking to their starting pitchers, including Mike Fiers. So really coming on as a Houston Astro and pressing the guys around him on the team. And he remembers a lot of that and how good he felt about being able to help out the team so quickly. Brownie, up to you.
Liner into center field, a hit for Didi Gregorius. And the Astros lead it 3-1, but Gregorius put a good swing on that one for his 5th hit in his first 9 at-bats of the season. That's 4 hits now for the Yankees. And Gregorius is aboard for Ellsbury.
One of those line drives that was extremely dangerous from 60 feet away.
Ellsbury hit a fly ball to left. Valbuena moves in on the grass. Double play depth for Correa and Altuve. Sun has popped out from behind those clouds. Check swing foul, strike 1. You know, managers have to think about a lot of possibilities after a game like last night. And one would have been the possibility of a rain delay or rain delays today. So that could have claimed the starting pitcher, Mike Fiers, if he had started the game and then had been unable to come back after a lengthy rain delay. That's usually when the long man comes into play, when they resume play after that rain delay. And that's why the Astros made the move, in part to Chris Davinsky, who was to have started the AAA Fresno opener tonight in Las Vegas, but instead he's probably here right now.
I think that's one of the biggest considerations when there's rain in the forecast for the general manager of the home team, who controls the situation in most cases, is how is it going to impact the starting pitchers for tonight's game, and in particular the home club's starting pitcher.
That's cranked out to right center field. Extra bases for Ellsbury. Gregorius around third, coming to the plate. Ellsbury will go back to second as run number 2 scores. And it's now a 1-run Houston lead on the Ellsbury RBI double.
Got a couple of excuse me, clubs that are feeling it pretty well right now with the bats. Just another fastball at 87 finds the center portion of the plate, and Ellsbury, a guy who has had one season in the big leagues hitting over 30 dingers, drives one pretty well.
It's Brett Gardner batting now. Gardner grounded out to Jose Altuve, who is shortened up at second base. Gardner lifts it to shallow. Well, it's at foul territory, and Valbuena makes the catch on it. That's one big out for Mike Fiers after giving up the back-to-back hits. And going back to that play that ended the second inning on Castro, that's looming fairly large in this game right now too.
Gotta believe that.
Alex Rodriguez, a 14-time All-Star, is the batter. He hit a fly ball to center field earlier. He hit 33 homers last year in a bounce-back season after sitting out to the 2014 season. He was suspended. He had hit only 7 homers in 156 at-bats in 2013. Alex now 40 years old. He looks at ball 1. White Sox lead at Oakland. It's 2-0 White Sox in the middle of the 6th inning. They just got 2 in the top of the 6th. They have Matt Latos on the mound against Kendall Graveman. Jose Abreu hit his first homer. One ball, 1 strike. So evidently that ruptured White Sox clubhouse has healed because of what happened in spring training with the whole episode of the retirement of Adam LaRoche, his son being in the clubhouse and making road trips and things of that nature. Players seem to be very angry over the way it was handled, and evidently they've been able to patch things up and move on. Altuve is right at second base now. He's trying to hold the runner, keep Ellsbury from getting a big lead, maybe stealing third base. 2 balls and a strike. And he'll quickly return to his left right before the pitch to A-Rod.
Got one of those tough scenarios. Pitcher standing at least in part in the sunlight, and hitter in shadow. Visualization of the baseball should be tough, but it's not showing up for the hitters right now.
Ground ball foul. 2-2 now. Scott Feldman will go tomorrow night for the Astros in Milwaukee against Chase Anderson as the Astros go to a National League park, interleague play, and the pitchers get ready to bat. So no DH over the weekend. And then the big home opener Monday. That's the opener of a 4-game series with Kansas City. Detroit will come in a week from tomorrow for a 3-game set over that next weekend. The hard-hitting Tigers. Victor Martinez already has a couple of pinch hit homers.
One right-handed, one left-handed. So, yeah, not quite healthy enough to be in the lineup on a nightly basis. So let's just go ahead and use him when we need the dinger.
Yeah. 33 fastballs and 5 cutters for Mike Fiers.
Haven't seen that curveball at all.
Last year he threw the fastball 57% of the time.
Good changeup.
Yes, it was, and he gets a strikeout. First changeup of the day for Fiers. Comes at a good time.
Yeah, if you're not going to throw many, you might as well put him in a good spot right there. You get the strikeout, a key one. That's excellent.
Mark Teixeira, single to left field. That little ground ball hit just inside the bag. There's strike one to him. Yeah, Fiers with that delivery. That's an unusual delivery for a hitter to look at, Ash.
Oh, it definitely is, and thereby he survives on that high fastball that hitters just don't get to. I think they're listening in on us. We got the changeup right away, and then the curveball. So maybe mixing in the other pitches now.
Teixeira fouls it. 0-2. Well, Eric Kratz hasn't been with the Astros very long. So it would be natural and normal to think that there's a break-in period for him with the various pitchers on this staff.
I think that would be an easy assumption. At the same time, I'd be surprised if a guy that's been around like Mike Fiers with the Major League no-no would just take at face value any sign he sees.
Right. Yeah, it's your game if you're the pitcher.
And if you don't like what you're seeing from your catcher, you can call him out to the mound. You can talk to him in between innings, but you know one or the other is going to happen.
And when he puts that sign down, it's a suggestion. That does not have to be accepted by the pitcher. There's a swing by Teixeira, and he just barely got a piece of it. Almost the end of the inning for Mike Fiers. Didn't look like he made any contact at all on that replay, but he did, apparently.
It's a kind of a confusion of sounds on that play, and I think sound is what the umpires utilize maybe more than visual.
Good block by Kratz on ball 2 in the dirt. Teixeira will be 36 in 4 more days. He went to Georgia Tech. He was the 5th player drafted in the 01 draft. The Texas Rangers took him. Traded him to Atlanta in 07. And he was an Angel, and the Yankees signed him to an 8-year deal after the 08 season. So this is the final year of that. And a strikeout for Mike Fiers ends the Yankee 3rd. They come back with a run on 2 hits and leave a man in scoring position. The Astros lead it 3-2 after 3.
the Yankees in the 4th. It's time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure you head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page. You can vote. This is your question. Who will be the Astros home run leader this season? Rasmus, who's coming up here. Gaddis, who's making his rehab start. I think this first DH tonight, so he's on the list. Correa and Springer. Gaddis not far away. Gaddis led the team last year with 27 homers. Rasmus, Valbuena with 25. They don't have Chris Carter. May look for somebody to step up and fill that role. Of course, Tucker and Tyler White already putting some up on the board, guys.
Yes, there's ball 1 to Colby Rasmus. He struck out looking in the 2nd. And it's 2-0. You mentioned Evan Gaddis expected to begin that rehab assignment with AA Corpus Christi. They open up tonight against Tulsa. That is at Tulsa. No, it's not. It's at Corpus.
You know, Brownie, Julia just mentioned Tyler White, and as much as A.J. Hinch and company knew that he had a track record of being a good hitter, I don't think they could have anticipated what they've seen right now.
That's been something, hasn't it?
And you wonder how much it shakes up any best laid plans to this point.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a while for Evan Gaddis to get back. Line shot into right field, right by Castro. Hard hit by Rasmus. 3rd hit of the season for Colby. You'll see the leaders from last year in the home run category.
How about that? Evan Gaddis leading the club. He'll be back soon. Colby Rasmus, Luis Valbuena right there. Chris Carter, he's gone. We'll see him in Milwaukee. Carlos Correa, that number is going to rise, and let's hope that number rises considerably for George Springer. They've still got the home run power.
Carlos Gomez struck out in the 2nd inning.
And what about this guy? Where does he fit in at this stage of his career with that long ball?
There's a shot on a line to left field. That one hops the wall, stays in play. Played perfectly by Gardner. And a throw goes into second base. Nobody was there, but no further advance on the double by Gomez. He started 0 for 9, but had a great swing on that line drive.
Yes, he did. And there was full commitment, student body left defensively for the Yankees, and that left nobody at second base where Brett Gardner chose to throw. You wonder, could Colby Rasmus possibly have scored on this throw? Watch this throw come back in. Yeah, that's, I think, clearly the best at bat we've seen to this point for Gomez, but there goes the throw, nobody there, and Gomez is saying, go ahead, take it right now.
Rasmus at 3rd, Gomez at 2nd, nobody out. For Valbuena, he hit a long double to right center. Bangs that one off his leg for strike 1.
You know, you really have to be down on the field to get a sense as to why a pitcher is getting hit hard in some circumstances, and I really apply that to Eovaldi right now with his stuff, which is exceptional. The Astros are putting some great at bats up.
They have 5 hits off him, 4 for extra bases, 2 homers, 2 doubles. Tyler White's on deck. That was pounded inside. Valbuena taking ball 1. Gregorius, the shortstop, is positioned up the middle. Inside again. 2 balls and a strike. Valbuena, before he hit his double in the 2nd inning, was 1 for 11 lifetime against Eovaldi. Infielders are back except for Headley, the 3rd baseman. Valbuena with strike 2 now has a 2-2 count.
Good location hitting that inside edge. for Eovaldi, but that fastball now is starting to drop off in velocity down to 96.
Astros scored 5 runs on Tuesday and 6 last night. Off-speed pitch. 3-2. For the most part, that off-speed pitch has not been in the strike zone. There was a 12-minute rain delay at the outset of this game. Foul back.
Good hack in an RBI scenario.
It really looks like the Astros hitters are hunting fastballs today, even though this fastball is 97 on average for him. Last year it was, anyway.
Sometimes you hunt heater and you can't handle the off-speed stuff, but you think of the Tucker dinger after fouling off a tough splitter. He took a slider and rammed it to right field, and guys are on it.
Popped up. McCann gives way to Teixeira. 1 out. And Tyler White will be the batter. White ripped a 2-run homer in the 2nd inning. Well, he left no doubt about getting his first major league hit. He got that one Tuesday in his first at bat as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. And then he left very little doubt about his first major league homer. It came in only his 6th at bat as a big leaguer.
A little brief conversation between catcher Brian McCann and Eovaldi. And my first thought was, could they be talking about possibly pitching around White? But there looms Preston Tucker. That's how valuable that next guy in the order is.
White takes a curveball. It's Miami 3, Washington 3. They're in the top of the 2nd in our nation's capital. Conley against Roark. Grounded up the middle and on through. Rasmus is home. And now it's going to be a 2-run single as Gomez scores. Another big hit for Tyler White. He's driven in 4 in this game, and the Astros lead it 5-2.
That was all about location. But you take them. And Tyler White is becoming indispensable in terms of his production. How do you pitch him? How do you play him? Not sure there are many answers right now.
He's now 5 for 7 as a major leaguer with a homer, 4 runs batted in. Preston Tucker ripped the homer to the 2nd deck in right field. Infield shift is on. That's strike 1.
Preston seeing it so well. When he gets something away, it looks like his body is reacting naturally toward left field.
Eric Kratz is on deck. There's the way the Yankees are positioned on the infield. One and one. The Astros scored with 2 outs, nobody on. They started that 2nd inning rally. Double, 2-run homer, and then another homer back to back. Here in the 4th inning, they have single, double, out, and 2-run singles. They're bunching their hits today against Eovaldi. That's what they did so often last year. And when they have guys in the 7, 8 spots in the lineup hitting it out of the ballpark, that's impressive.
It's a perfectly spotted curveball.
Yes, it is. Tucker's down on strikes. 2 outs.
I think that off-speed curveball really set up that ability to slip one by Preston. Of course, that's the splitter, and that's pretty much a dive bomb splitter.
Eric Kratz grounded to shortstop earlier. Well, the Los Angeles Dodgers have another shutout going. They lead the Giants 3-0 after 2.5 in San Francisco.
It may not be scored upon this year.
They're 3-0 with an ERA of 0. They swept the San Diego Padres. In those 27 innings, the Dodger pitching staff allowed 11 hits, had 2 walks and 28 strikeouts, with a batting average against them of 120.
And their offense isn't struggling.
No. 0-2. Have Alex Wood on the mound today against Jake Peavy.
Boy, there's got to be pressure to run out there and be the next starter.
Yeah. Warm-up action for the Yankees. They have a right-hander tuning it up in their bullpen. Kratz on appeal did strike out. The call was made by Mike Estabrook that it was a swing, but the Astros got 2 runs on 3 hits and left a man to lead it 5-2 in the 4th.
We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Treat your employees, host clients, or bring out your church or youth sports teams for an experience that they'll all remember, and do it with Astros group tickets. Visit astros.com/groups, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your group today.
An enthusiastic group there. And we'll see them next Monday night at home against Kansas City in the home opener. Brian McCann single to right field. And this time he shoots one high to right field. A line drive that reaches the seats, wraps around the foul pole for a McCann home run. Number 1 of the season. That makes it 5-3 Houston.
Fires a fastball pitcher. And that first pitch to the hitter tends to be fastball anyway. Brian McCann just dialed it up and took a big hack.
Six hits for both clubs now. Yankees get their 5th long ball of the season. Carlos Beltran next. There is strike 1. Beltran hit a fly ball to right. Beltran, as you know, put in that tremendous half season with Houston in 2004, and then he moved on through free agency to the New York Mets. And the Astros had offered him a package of somewhere around $100 million for 6 years. He chose to go with the Mets. And the Astros wound up signing another free agent, Carlos Lee. Bouncer to Tyler White. 1 out. So how did they fare once the decision was made? Well, during that period of time, from 07 through July 4th, 2012, when Carlos Lee was traded to Miami, those are the numbers. Beltran was injured some of that time. That's why he didn't play nearly as many games.
Yeah, injuries took a lot out of Carlos Beltran, but some of the tools started to diminish as age crept in. But clearly, Carlos Lee put up some very nice numbers in a Houston uni.
Chase Headley looks at strike one. Headley hit a sac fly to left field in the second inning. Of course, there's a line shot to White. Hard hit for out number 2. Ball was drilled.
Tyler White saying, don't worry about me with the leather. It's nice when, as a young player, you come to that reality that, you know what, I'm still just playing the same old game. Some pretty good players at my sides, but I'm not too bad either.
That had some top spin on it. Starlin Castro singled, and then he was thrown out trying to stretch that to a double in a big play in the second inning by Colby Rasmus and Jose Altuve. Ball 1 to Castro. Now Castro is closing in on 1,000 hits already in his career. He's only 26. That pitch is up, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. He has 997 hits now.
Those are real deal numbers, but he looks like the real deal.
Strong arm. Good changeup by Fires. 2-1. Another note on that Beltran and Lee comparison, though, as you know, they're totally different style of players.
Yeah. Carlos Beltran brings a lot more to the team when it's all said and done. But Carlos Lee did what he was supposed to do.
Lee just had that competency at driving in runs.
Some guys are run producers, and some guys shy away from those opportunities.
Beltran can help a club in more ways with his legs, his defensive ability, his arm. That's cranked to left field. Rasmus way back, and they're getting up in the seats to receive the home run ball from Castro. That's his 8th run batted in the first 3 games, and it's 5-4. Second home run for Castro this season.
Real deal, and then some. You're going to get some fastballs that find the plate from Mike Fiers, and inner third there, it gets juiced. I would say Mike Fiers has not had that deceptive high heater today.
Castro has really gotten off to a magnificent start as a Yankee. Gregorius looks at ball 1. He singled and scored.
Take a look at that swing one more time if you can stomach it. Great extension. It's a home run swing from a middle infielder. Well, then there's Carlos Correa.
2-0. Now Castro's home run high in a season is 14. He's done that twice. He had 78 runs batted in for the Cubs in 2012. Foul back, and it's 2-1. So the Yankees could be realizing a lot more offensively if he continues with this.
Assuming the Yankees stay healthy, and that's always a big assumption. If they can wait it out for a month and get Chapman to fill out the rest of that bullpen, they're going to be really tough.
Yes. 3-1. They can shrink it down to a 6-inning game with the trio that they have of flamethrowers in their bullpen. Three and two of the lefty Andrew Miller, who's their closer from last year, did a great job, and the closer again right now, Dellin Betances, the right-hander, big strikeout guy, and Chapman. Three flamethrowers for the final 3 innings. Colby Rasmus comes over near the left field line and up against the stands, but it's back out of play, except for him.
I'd have to say the conditions for playing right now are just about ideal for the guys.
They are.
Oftentimes this awkward 4 o'clock start can be a nightmare for hitters with shadows and everything that goes on, but basically on a day like this you couldn't ask for a better opportunity to play.
Good play by Steve Bartman there in left field.
He's kind of shrunk it down a little bit, but still pretty good hands.
That poor guy.
Yes. He was no more at fault than all the folks sitting around him.
Who wants that kind of fame, right?
Announcers bringing up his name decades later.
Popped up, and here's Valbuena to end it in the 4th, and it is a slugfest through 4. It's 5-4 Astros.
Over the Yankees, 5-4. And now we bring our highlights, brought to you by the Ford Spray Chart. We're featuring Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa, two very different styled hitters, no doubt, but you can see what they tend to do with the ball. Carlos Correa is actually the guy who uses the right field side of things much more than Jose Altuve. I think that would break some stereotypes there, but Carlos Correa is going to find the seats that way and all around Jose Altuve. Maybe trying to match the 15 long balls from a year ago, but two guys that use it well.
Altuve is 0 for 2 in this game. He lined to right and fly to center. Nathan Eovaldi throws strike 1. So now as we enter the 5th inning, both these right-handed starters try to stay in despite the onslaught against them. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros got 3 in the 2nd and 2 in the 4th off Eovaldi. He's at the 84 pitch mark already. Altuve grounds it foul. There is some stirring and some action in the Yankee bullpen now. Last inning there was a right-hander getting loose, and now here's another right-hander getting loose. Tyler Yates. We have not seen anyone working in the Astros pen. Altuve chased that one in the dirt and struck out.
He's a free swinger, but not that free, and he's very upset with himself.
7 strikeouts for Eovaldi. Well, Astros. Hard throwers from Alvin, Texas gain reputations, although actually Eovaldi grew up in Alvin, but he was born technically in Houston. George Springer is 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout.
That's an interesting comparison. Nolan was, legend said he was 100 miles an hour when he was throwing his first warm-up toss, but he was in that 95 to 98, 99 range most of the time once he got loose. Eovaldi can certainly live in that area.
Yes, he can. 1-1 to Springer with Correa on deck. He goes for the fastball and skies it. Mark Teixeira heads toward home plate. 2 down. Well, the top 3 in the lineup have not reached base against Nate Eovaldi. They're a collective 0 for 8. Correa made a strong bid for an extra base hit in the first inning, driving Ellsbury back to the right center field wall where he made a leaping catch. Then he struck out looking in the third. The last Astro before Correa to homer in his first 2 games of the season was Lance Berkman. Berkman hit home runs in the first 3 games of 2002. But nobody with the Astros had ever hit 3 homers in their first 2 games. Berkman just hit 1 in each game. That one bounces for ball 2.
Slacker.
Yeah. Robert Stevenson was the winning pitcher for Cincinnati. Don't know if his middle name was Robert Louis Stevenson, but he was a winning pitcher. And Jay Bruce hit a couple of homers. Reds beat the Phillies 10-6. Fouled away by Correa. 2-2. In the Astros notes, they have the minor league openers scheduled for today and tonight. Fresno's at Las Vegas, where A.J. Reed is the number 2 Houston prospect as ranked by MLB.com. Out to right field, Carlos Beltran with the catch. In the middle of the 5th inning, it's 5-4 Houston. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Let's go to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx for the finale of this 3-game series. Deciding game, Astros 5, Yankees 4. And we move to the bottom of the 5th inning with Jacoby Ellsbury leading it off. Grounding one foul. Ellsbury had an RBI double in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Curve drops in for a strike, and it's 0-2 for Mike Fiers.
Seldom used curveball today, but that was a good one.
Yes, it was a good one. One ball, 2 strikes. There was a note on protests. There have been 2 protests upheld in Major League Baseball since the Pine Tar game here in '83, both weather related. Line drive, right field corner. Ellsbury heads for second base. Springer turns around, fires into second, and Ellsbury has a leadoff double. His second 2-base hit of the game.
I think a bit of a thumber right here, but dropped in perfectly. Good strong throw from George Springer, but not enough for the speed of Ellsbury. See that little cut job getting in on the hands. It's a nice quick release too for George.
Brett Gardner is batting. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out and fouled out. Tyler White's on the grass at first. Luis Valbuena's on the grass at third. Gardner's a good bunter. Alex Rodriguez on deck. That's strike 1.
Brett Gardner takes a lot of pitches, and he took one right there that I think he'd like to have back.
One ball and 1 strike. Gardner suffered a bruised left wrist in that wild card playoff game here with the Astros, and that lingered and was still bothering him some in spring training. Line drive, right field, well hit. Springer with the catch. Here's the tag. Ellsbury will advance to third. 1 out.
That leadoff double is such a weapon beyond a leadoff single or walk. With the latter, you just have a guy at first base with 1 out. In this scenario, because of the speed, you've got a man at third and so many more chances to be able to score and tie the game.
3-time most valuable player Alex Rodriguez bats. The infielders are coming in. Rodriguez is fly to center and struck out. Mark Teixeira's on deck. He fights it off, and this one goes foul. Good catch down there.
Yeah, I was just thinking, a guy, a slugger like Alex Rodriguez, how many times in his lengthy career has the infield played in on him?
Yeah. He's driven in 2,055 runs. Good fastball, and it's 0-2. Alex was the first player drafted in the '93 draft by the Seattle Mariners. rockets one into center field. That'll tie it at 5. RBI single for A-Rod on the 0-2 pitch.
Some kind of run producer right there. A little too good from Fiers coming in. Looked like elevating in the strike zone a bit.
The Astros led 3-0 and 5-2. Now it's 5-5 with Mark Teixeira batting. He's 1 for 2. He gets strike 1. Will Harris gets loose for Houston. Alex Rodriguez stole a base here in the opener Tuesday. He doesn't do much running though anymore. In tight, 1-1. He has 327 steals in his career. Good block by Eric Kratz. 2 balls and a strike.
He looks good back there. I think in terms of backup catcher, he can clearly get the job done. Scuffles with the bat.
Fiers throws strike 2.
And one of those seldom thrown changeups. Well done.
Teixeira had 79 runs batted in last year. He was hurt in September, and that really hurt the Yankees' cause. Eovaldi also was injured in September. And another one, a beauty, strikes him out.
Right back to the change. You get that peek at a guy not even close on one, and you ask yourself, can I do it again and get that same result? In this case, absolutely.
3 strikeouts. Teixeira's been the victim twice. McCann has been a dilemma today for Fiers. McCann singled to right off the wall, and he homered. He had been 0 for 6 lifetime against Fiers. Carlos Beltran's on deck. Yankees really put pressure on a pitching staff with their solid hitters in the lineup. They just have so many credentials in this lineup.
I'd be surprised if the Yankees soon don't make an adjustment to get Starlin Castro up higher in that batting order.
Fiers delivers ball 1. Yankee hitters have hit more than 2,000 home runs, all their career totals combined. Inside for ball 2 to McCann. And when they signed McCann, they got a guy who has been consistently one of the best hitting catchers around. 6 Silver Slugger awards rather. He joined them in 2014. Hit 23 homers that year. He hit 26 more last year. In for a strike.
This ballpark suits McCann perfectly.
Now pull hitter. It's 314 down the right field line. He's a 7-time All-Star. Correa lays out to his left, and robs McCann of a hit to end the Yankee fifth. They tied with a run on 2 hits and leave a man. Correa snuffs out the inning, diving to his left, throwing out McCann. Hit 5-5 in a Donnybrook through 5.
The Yankees at 5. And earlier we had our Chevy Stroh poll. We have a winner, a clear-cut winner, Carlos Correa, who has 3 homers already in the first 2 games of the season. Almost got one today. This is who will be the Astros home run leader this season. Thanks for voting. Remember to check out Root Sports SW on Twitter. We're going to start asking you some questions like this throughout the season. If you have ideas, throw them at us as well. What do you think of this, Brownie and Ash? Surprised? Not surprised?
Well, you know, I was just going to say, Julia, not really surprised, but Carlos Correa is on a pace to hit 162 home runs this year.
It's a good pace.
Yeah.
That's what you had the slide rule out.
Kirby Yates comes in, acquired from the Cleveland Indians. And with Tampa, he was 1-0 with a 7.97 ERA. 10 homers allowed last year. Also pitched at AAA Durham. Faces Colby Rasmus. Rasmus lifts one to center. Jacoby Ellsbury. 1 pitch, 1 out for Yates. Evaldi in 5 innings allowed 6 hits, 5 runs. Did not walk anybody. He struck out 7. And the Yankee bullpen comes into play now in this tie game with Carlos Gomez following. Gomez is 1 for 2, a double to left.
Yates pretty much 92-ish with the fastball, so you can dial it back now a little bit for the Astros hitters.
Headley's even with a bag at third. Gomez tried to bunt once in this series. This ball 1. Yates is the brother of Tyler Yates, who's been a major league pitcher. Tampa Bay designated him for assignment in November, and then Cleveland picked him up in a deal. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yates is 29 years old. He was born in Hawaii. He's had Tommy John surgery on his elbow and also shoulder surgery. That was when he was in junior college. So he went to a 2-year college, but because of those injuries, 4 years later, he was out of junior college. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Basically a rebuilt man out there.
Yeah. Speaking of Tommy John, did you see that Tyler Kolek is to undergo Tommy John surgery?
Saw the note the other day.
Strikeout.
It's just become a routine facet of being a pitcher.
Boy. Yeah, the Astros were really scouting him for that first pick in the draft a few years ago. Miami took him. He's from north of Houston. Luis Valbuena doubled to center field and fouled out to the first baseman. Yankees about hit the Astros 9-6. No errors in the game. Each club with a couple of homers. Ball one to Valbuena. Well, quite often when the weather is not very good early in the season, windy, cold, some rain around, the pitchers dominate. The hitters have done very well in this series. Foul ball, ricochets back there. 1-1. One ricocheted off McCann and also hit the umpire, Ed Hickox. That's a hit through the left side. Valbuena hitting it sharply. And he is 2 for 3. We go to Julia Morales.
Thanks, Brownie. Our steal power player of the game. Who else but Tyler White, the rookie, who is 5 for 7 to start his career. Gets his first major league bomb today for Ribby so far. And getting that first hit out of the way on opening day felt pretty good for him. He says he still feels a little anxious, more than usual at the plate. So he's working on getting comfortable. I asked him about watching video. He was watching video earlier today, and he said he's just watching to see which pitches he's taking, which pitches he's swinging at. Really keen in on selection. Of course, this is a guy known for OBP, Browning.
Yeah, 2 for 2 with 4 runs batted in this game. There's strike one. By the way, Julia, you and I should thank our longtime friend Jeff Blum for providing us with those gloves for this series.
Oh, yes. Much love goes out to Blummer. What do we owe him for that?
We'll find out Monday night when he's in town for the Kansas City Royals series. And then the Detroit series after that. Strike makes it 0-2 to Tyler White.
You don't need gloves on a day like this.
No.
What are you talking about?
You're right. Not today, but the last 2 days we have.
It was a bit chilly.
I lost the gloves today. I'm going without. Real tough down here.
Yeah.
Turn off that heater.
I've got the biggest scarf on I could find them.
Wait till Milwaukee, though.
Ooh. Snow.
Yeah, could be snow.
They're talking snow here in New York over the weekend.
And Detroit, I think, might be pretty iffy for the Yankees this weekend. They have a Sunday night game also. You know, now Milwaukee doesn't really have the usual heat in the stadium. They have some heat.
That rumor's true.
Yeah, I think it's true. So bring your coat to the ballpark.
Okay.
That means Julia's going to grab your gloves again.
I'm going to need those gloves back.
You might if it's 22 overnight. And what's the high going to be? Maybe 38 or so?
That's when Julia gets her running in, too.
Yeah, I'll be running. No, I'm not.
Well, you know, have you ever done the sausage race there?
No, how do I sign up?
Well, you could run with them.
Get my run in?
Yeah, we've done it. Inside.
That's some glib banter you've got with the ladies there, Brownie.
Yeah. Well, you know, yeah, it's a usual conversation we have when we're going to Milwaukee. Hey, have you ever done the sausage race?
Yeah. Or, Julia, you going to try to go down the slide this time in Milwaukee?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. Stay tuned.
Well, you haven't had an opportunity. Runner going. Ground ball foul. So Valbuena, who left from first with 2 outs, goes back. Yeah, you know, interleague play, giving you a chance to go to these different cities. You'll be going to St. Louis, Pittsburgh. Well, you might not be on all these trips, right?
I'll be on all of them.
Okay. Arizona, you've been to Arizona before.
Been to Arizona.
You got to have the cameras on the other pitchers who are not pitching on a given day in this series.
Struck him out. No runs, a hit, and a man left. It's 5-5 in the 6th.
To the bottom of the 6th here in the Bronx. Save money and get the games with the best giveaways, including the Award Series bobbleheads with the Astros 10-game Award Series package. Visit astros.com/mini plans or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to get yours today. There are some really good giveaways mixed in here. Starting with the Correa replica home jersey. That's right around the corner. I bet the Keuchel Cy Young bobblehead is going to be popular. What do you think? Or the Rasmus postseason celebration bobblehead. I don't know. These are all good. There's a gnome in there. Guys, I can't take any days off. I need these things.
Yeah, you need to show up.
I need to show up.
And represent. Yeah, we'll get one for you.
You give Brownie his gloves back, he might just land something for you.
There's some good stuff in there.
Oh, excellent stuff. Carlos Beltran against Will Harris, who's entering the game now. And first pitch breaking ball, strike one for Harris, making his first appearance of 2016 after an excellent year last year. Ash.
He'll bring that fastball in the low 90s. He'll push toward the mid 90s on a real good night, but what a heck of a year he had last year. One of the stalwarts in that bullpen.
Ground ball backhanded. Valbuena drops it. He cannot make a play on it. Beltran reaching to lead off the home 6th.
I think this ground ball sharply hit might have come up on that last little hop. Valbuena saw this just start to bounce off the body and never could corral it. See if we can detect. Right there, it came up over the glove. Yep.
And that's his first error of the year.
That's a tough E.
Hadley's the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a sac fly. Lined out to the first baseman, Tyler White, last time. It's ball one. There's a report today on ESPN that the Astros have signed a Cuban infielder, Anibal Sierra, to a minor league deal worth $3.5 million. And they signed his brother Carlos Sierra in December. 2 balls, no strikes. And we also saw another note, I believe it was on Twitter, that the Astros are exceeding their budget for international signings because the new labor deal, which goes into effect next year, might be changing things and might be limiting those budgets for international signings more. 2 balls and a strike. So they have the Sierra brothers from Cuba. That would be something if those guys could hit like Ruben Sierra.
I was going to say, if you could pull a Ruben Sierra out of that batch, you really have something. Never know. Doubt that anybody had any idea what Tyler White might have a chance to turn into.
That's an excellent point. In the air to center field. Gomez. He put his hands out. He might have been trying to decoy Carlos Beltran and trying to sucker him into going to second, thinking that Gomez lost the ball, but he wasn't falling for it. One out. Starlin Castro is 2 for 2, a single and a homer for Castro. In for a strike. Will Harris, 31 years old, was born in Houston, went to LSU. This number 8 hitter has given the Astros fits in this series. Castro is 7 for 9. 2 homers, 8 runs batted in. Chases that breaking pitch. 0-2. Will Harris pitched 71 innings last year. That was the 4th most innings pitched by an American League reliever. Buries the breaking ball in the dirt, but Castro's not offering, and it's 1-2. Kratz looks good blocking balls.
He has looked good today. Jason Castro very good in the first couple of games. So obviously some work has been put in and it's paying off.
Another good block. 2-2. Castro still not biting though. There's an article on Astros.com that George Springer has bought tickets for 24 4th graders from John F. Kennedy Elementary School in Kingston, New York, to come to the game today. For most of them, it's their first major league game. We saw a shot of them earlier.
Get a kid out to a ball game, you might have a fan for life.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. Kratz comes up with it, and he struck him out for out number 2.
And another fine block by Eric Kratz.
It really was.
That man at first base, no need for the tag or throw down to first.
There are those kids, courtesy of George Springer, attending their first game, many of them. And according to this article, George visited that school in the off season. And that gave him the idea to bring those kids down for a game.
Way to go, George. Hope there were hot dogs and cotton candy and a whole lot else involved today.
Didi Gregorius is 1 for 2. There's strike 1.
What would be the must-have for a young kid that age at a ball game? A hot dog has to be part of it, and
Sure.
a drink, and then I don't know. You got to have some cotton candy. You got to get messy.
There are so many more choices, though.
Yeah, there are.
Now than there were 20 years ago, right?
Used to be pretty basic, but it satisfied me.
Did you have cotton candy as a choice when you came out?
I don't recall. We used to have some frozen malts.
Yeah, frozen malts.
Shakes or whatever they were. But
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good. I think those kids could go for one right about now.
How about jujubes? Did you ever have jujubes when you came to a game?
When I was a kid, I used to love those things.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, when you said that, I could feel it on my teeth. You ever have that reaction with old
yeah.
baseball cards and the gum that used to come with it?
Yeah, and when you go to a movie, good and plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Licorice.
That's a good call. I can to this day see a baseball card and maybe smell it, and that feeling of the gum that came with it, I can feel on my teeth.
Yeah. And then what did you do? You put it in the spokes of your bicycle wheel.
Yep. That comment endorsed by 4 out of 5 dentists.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Will Harris throwing hard on that one. 91. That's about his normal neighborhood for that fastball. Left-handed hitters hit just 129 against him last year.
It's a rather remarkable stat when you consider he's not a guy that features a great changeup, which is for the right-hand pitcher an equalizer for left-hand bats.
He's consistently put that breaking ball in the dirt, and Kratz has consistently stopped it.
Yeah, he's doing a good job back there. Look at that job, keeping the glove down. That's the toughest thing. You want to react and come up with the glove. It leaves the hole. It creates bad angles. He's doing a beautiful job.
So Will Harris could be kind of the second lefty in the Astros bullpen, so to speak, the way he is against left-handed hitters.
Yeah, I think when you're trying to put together a bullpen, you have to consider the fact that we don't need an extra lefty if you can count on Will Harris coming up with that type of set of numbers against the lefties again.
Fastball popped back and out of play. Still 2-2 to Gregorius. This is the only trip, of course, for the Astros to Yankee Stadium this year. Yankees will pay a return visit to Houston at the end of July, the 25th, 26th, 27th. Slim crowd today. Game was in doubt with the weather forecast. He got him to go for a high fastball and struck out Gregorius. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. Carlos Gomez having fun in center field. Thought maybe he could find a way to make a double play on that fly ball. The game is tied at 5.
Tied at 5 between the Astros and the Yankees, and it is time to name that Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Remember to tweet us your best guess. We're going to share the answer with you a little bit later. Here are your clues. He once appeared on Letterman wearing an apron. Inducted into the Polish American Hall of Fame. Woo! Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. No more clues than that.
I could give one, but I think it would be too easy, so I'm going to keep it to
Okay.
myself.
All right. Polish American Hall of Fame.
Well, I want to hear what that extra one Julia might have. Anything to do with an Emery board?
I'll text it to you.
Okay.
I don't want to share with the group.
No.
I like it when they're tough.
Well, we have a change for both clubs. Here is Marwin Gonzalez coming up to pinch hit for Preston Tucker. And the reason is the Yankees have brought out a lefty reliever for the 7th inning, Chasen Shreve. So Preston Tucker, who bats left, leaves the game after going 1 for 2, a home run. And Marwin Gonzalez steps up. To be followed by Kratz and Altuve here in the Astros 7th. He hit 12 homers last season. Hit 4 this spring to tie for the club lead. That's in the air, and here's McCann coming over for it. And giving way to Teixeira. 1 pitch, 1 out for Shreve. Kirby Yates in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, and struck out 2. Chasen Shreve 6-2 with a 3.09 ERA in 59 games last year. He worked 1 1/3 innings Tuesday after an excellent spring, retiring 30 of 33 batters. Kratz is 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout. Gets a first pitch breaking ball for strike 1. Shreve is from Las Vegas. He went to the College of Southern Nevada. Drafted by Atlanta in the 11th round in 2010. The Yankees got him in a trade prior to last year, along with David Carpenter, for lefty Manny Banuelos. It's 1-1. In for a strike, a ball and 2 strikes.
I think the folks on Twitter are crushing this one.
Are they?
I think so. I don't remember the apron thing, but
Two and 2. Five runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Astros. 5-9-0 for the Yankees. The deciding game of this 3-game series is far from being decided. Kratz gets into one. High drive left field. Gardner back, leaping at the wall. 2 outs.
I don't think Gardner thought he was that far away from the wall. And I thought by the sound of that ball that Erik Kratz might have gotten one. I think Mr. Shreve thought that ball was not coming back.
Yeah.
Watch Shreve. Just dropped his head, didn't even look.
Two outs, and it's Jose Altuve 0 for 3. They strike 1. Top 3 Astros hitters are a collective 0 for 9, and they have not reached base. Nathan Eovaldi started for the Yankees, giving up 5 runs in 5 innings. Charged. And there's the play by Headley. 1-2-3, 7th inning keeps this game tied 5-5. On to the singing of God Bless America here.
MLB.com at bat lets you stay up to the moment on Astros baseball with game day, live game highlights, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Browning.
Thanks, Julia. We have a good game going here in the Bronx. Astros 5, Yankees 5. And it was very cloudy and raining before the game. There was a rain delay of 12 minutes, but we've seen the sun poke through. Now as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, Will Harris, who retired 3 in a row after an error in the 6th, will move to the top of the order for the Yankees. Jacoby Ellsbury has a pair of doubles, an RBI, and a run scored in this game. Strike one for Will Harris. His ERA last year, 1.90, was the lowest by a Houston reliever since Brad Lidge in 2004. Big breaking ball makes it 0-2, and his opponent's batting average was the lowest produced by a right-handed reliever in a single season in Astros history. 168. Upstairs for a ball and makes it 1-2. Did you read that story about the Mike Piazza jersey when he was with the Mets, and he wore it the first game back after the 9/11 attack on New York? Very interesting story.
Well, those are impressive numbers you bring up on Will Harris, having the best batting average against in Astros history. And of course, you're talking about Brad Lidge and some of the Dotel campaigns, and not to mention some of the other great pitchers down the line. But start bringing up Brad Lidge, and that's hard to imagine.
Ground ball, Correa. That's one big out.
Time now for Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Let's go back to the 2nd inning. Starlin Castro has been red hot with the bat, and he raked one down the left field side. But Colby Rasmus came to the rescue, made a good throw into second base. Altuve stuck a tag on Castro, and that ended the inning. And what could have been a threat from the Yankees at the time. Heck of a play by Colby Rasmus. That's delivery.
Delivered on a platter to his second baseman, who made a nice tag. Brett Gardner is 0 for 3. Well, these Astros outfielders are just exceptional defensively.
It's a great bunch, isn't it? And then Jake Marisnick might be the standout of the quartet, as it turns out. And
yeah,
look forward to seeing him get out there and play.
Yeah, he's the best.
Of course, after all the great plays I've seen from George Springer the last couple of years in right field and center field, we'll call it a push, or the thing is, Marisnick is just incredible.
Ground ball hit through the right side for Gardner. Will Harris in his 2nd inning of work will face Alex Rodriguez, or probably not. A.J. Hinch is on his way out to the mound. Well, he got that extra out here, going more than 1 inning, going an inning and a third. And now we'll leave with a runner at first in a 5-5 game. Back in a moment.
Copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
We're back out at Yankee Stadium. It's still tied 1-1 for the Yankees. Ken Giles on to pitch. But before we get to that, we are naming that Astro. It's presented by your local Honda dealer. Your clues: appearing on Letterman with an apron. Who's inducted to the Polish American Hall of Fame. Who is this Astro? Twitter. Oh, well, Twitter actually. Well, there were some wrong answers in there. I actually saw a lot of right answers.
Tony Eusebio's in the Polish American Hall of Fame.
I was going to say all I saw was Joe Niekro, and then, of course, the first one that pops up wasn't. There he is. I was going to say the nail file.
Well, I said something about the Emery board, and I think it slipped right on by you, but
missed it.
Ken Giles in the game. There's some power. 97 to Alex Rodriguez for strike one.
97 is just about standard fare for Ken Giles.
Tuesday in his one inning, he gave up a homer to Didi Gregorius. He got a hold. He came in with a 5-2 lead in the 8th inning, giving up that 1 run in 1 inning. He was the closer with the Phillies after the trade of Jonathan Papelbon to Washington last year. And powers that one by A-Rod at 97 as well. 0-2.
I think the first 2 years I was a member of the Astros, Joe Niekro won a total of 41 games over those years, 79 and 80.
Yeah,
it was something.
Back-to-back 20-win seasons. Giles had a 6.75 ERA for 9 outings this spring. Rodriguez lines one into left center. Gomez over to play it. Runners at first and second with 1 out on the hit by Rodriguez on the 0-2 pitch. Now Mark Teixeira.
Brownie, we've talked about the arm of Carlos Gomez in center field. Very strong, but sometimes erratic. And I was really curious to see if Ellsbury was going to challenge there heading into third.
Yeah.
Didn't come about.
Trying to keep his hand warm there by doing the Napoleon act in center field. Teixeira is 1 for 3.
Napoleon couldn't throw at all.
No. Remember that coach we had, Ed Napoleon?
Yeah, sure.
He could throw. BP.
He's a BP master, you bet.
Yeah.
It's one of the real needs of a coaching staff, members of the staff. You've got to have some guys who can bring it in batting practice day after day after day.
To left field, Rasmus watching it, and that one is a 3-run shot from Mark Teixeira. Yankees lead it 8-5. Number 2 of the season for Teixeira.
Well, it wasn't like Giles left a pitch right through the heart that could be yanked to the short porch in right field. Teixeira just went down, got it, shot it the other way, and had enough. But at 98 miles an hour, the dial was up, and it was enough. This is a little bit of what Giles saw happen with his pitches during the spring.
Strike to McCann. 3 homers for the Yankees today, 7 in this 3-game series for them. Off-speed pitch makes it 1-1. The book is closed on Will Harris. 1 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Two balls and a strike. Two and two. Alex Rodriguez singled on the 0-2 pitch, and Teixeira hit a 1-0 pitch for a 3-run shot. It's his 12th career homer against Houston. And for a strikeout looking. 2 outs. Now that the Yankees have the lead, they have big 6'8" Dellin Betances warming up for the 8th inning. Springer, Correa, and Rasmus due to bat. Carlos Beltran is 0 for 3.
Yeah, no doubt. Andrew Miller to follow, and then imagine Aroldis Chapman being a part of the back of that bullpen.
Well, you remember the Nasty Boys with Cincinnati.
Sure. Norm Charlton and Rob Dibble.
That was a hard throwing bunch.
None better for me than the trio the Astros put up, though, with Dotel, Lidge, and Wagner. Some order, you go ahead and choose the order you like.
Rasmus in and left for the catch. The Yankees put together a rally. They get a 3-run homer from Teixeira to lead it 8-5 after 7.
Helps us work the game as we look at George Springer. There's George Springer. We're talking about the last couple of years and what he's done. Last year he became kind of a back up the middle and right field hitter. Few less home runs. Batting average went up. With it, the on-base percentage. Still has that power. When he first came to the big leagues, he was a big strikeout guy and would yank balls to left field. We saw this, the grand slam, in game 1 here in the series, and it was pivotal. Make that in game 2, I believe. But he's such a dynamic force. A blend of the two guys, right field, and that yank power of his. He can be one of the game's elite players.
Big Dellin Betances comes in with a 3-run lead, facing Springer, who's 0 for 3. Foul ball, strike 1. Betances drew the loss in the opener here Tuesday, giving up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning. The runs were unearned. He made the throwing error on the little dribbler up the first base line by Carlos Correa. He led in strikeouts for relievers last year. 1 ball, 1 strike. And we're talking about the Nasty Boys earlier in 1990 with the Reds. Norm Charlton, Rob Dibble, Randy Myers,
That's right.
You mentioned the Astros trio, Dotel, Lidge, and Wagner. Betances could be part of one of the most electric trios as well in recent years if he is up to the form he showed last year. And then, of course, Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman.
I would have loved to have seen Billy Wagner take his fastball head up to Aroldis Chapman's heater that is reported to be above 100 fairly consistently.
Springer takes that breaking ball. 3-1 to George. Well, Ken Giles now has given up 2 homers in his first 2 games as an Astro. Jason Shreve in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Springer looking back at the home plate umpire. 3-1 is the count. Ed Hickox verifying that for George. That's the count on the scoreboard as well. Castro, 1 out. So he didn't get a full cut out. It dribbled out to the second baseman for out number 1.
Yeah, something fooled George there. On a 3-1, you're looking for 1 pitch and trying to wail on it.
Carlos Correa is 0 for 3. He hit a deep drive to right center, caught by a leaping Jacoby Ellsbury in the first inning. Colby Rasmus is on deck. Sharp breaking ball, and there's strike 1.
That's what you do. You bring that slider on pitch number 1 when a guy's going to try to obviously juice up a heater. Completely unwound Carlos's effort.
One ball, 1 strike. Betances is from New York, metropolitan area, and he was an 8th round pick in 06. Imagine 8th round for this hard thrower. Had Tommy John surgery in 09.
Yeah, that slips by my belief system. Number 1, he's a big guy, and scouts love big guys, and you put the huge arm to go with it, and he's a number 1 pick, isn't he?
Yeah.
You run Billy Wagner out there with a great arm but the small body, and scouts are afraid of that guy.
Gets him on a swing and a miss. McCann with a throw, 2 outs on the strikeout of Correa.
The Astros home opening series is April 11th through the 14th. That's against the Kansas City Royals, the reigning World Series champs. Get your tickets to see the Astros kick off 2016 by visiting Astros.com or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
They're all revved up for that series with the Royals starting Monday night. The strikeout was the 10th for the Yankee pitching staff today. So they've struck out 10 in all 3 games of this series. Colby Rasmus is 1 for 3 and tied for ball 1. But the Astros also have hit 6 homers in this series. They've scored 16 runs in the 3 games.
That Yankees offense has been tough to beat in this series.
In the first 2 games, Mark Teixeira and company were 10 for 20 with runners in scoring position. 1-2.
This just filthy stuff that Betances brings, and many a hitter has had that poor swing against him.
He struck him out on another breaking pitch. And that completes the strikeout from 2 to 3. The 11th punch out for the Yankee pitching staff today. 8-5 Yankees in the 8th. On Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. At Yankee Stadium, where the sun has come out during this game after a rain delay earlier. Yankees lead at 8-5. They got 3 to snap the tie on a homer by Mark Teixeira in the 7th inning. Ken Giles in 2/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs with no walks, 1 strikeout. Now it's Tony Sipp coming out for the bottom of the 8th.
3rd season now with the Astros for Tony. See that ERA last year, 1.99. Second lowest ERA among lefties in the American League. And right-hand batters, it's kind of that reversal thing. The lefties struggled against him. The righties had very little chance.
Chase Headley leads it off. He's 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Castro and Gregorius to follow in the Yankee 8th inning. The Astros will have Gomez, Valbuena, and White due up in the 9th. Lefty Andrew Miller, the Yankees closer, is working. There is strike 1. Sipp worked 1 inning last night, allowing 3 hits and 1 run. He threw 30 pitches. One and 1. He's the 4th Astro pitcher to work in this game. Mike Fiers, the starter, went 5, allowing 9 hits, 5 runs. Hadley flings the bat away as this fly ball heads out for left center, and Colby Rasmus 1 out. Starlin Castro with another big day, 2 for 3 including a homer, has really been sizzling to open the season here. Well, the Dodgers do not have an ERA of 0 anymore. The Giants lead them 7-4 in the middle of the 7th inning.
You still got it?
Hope the pitching coach retains his job.
Strike 1 to Castro. Dodgers shutting out the Padres those first 3 games in San Diego, and they even got a home run from a pitcher, Kenta Maeda. But the Giants are getting the better of them right now, 7-4 in the 7th inning in San Francisco. 0-2, and the Giants are the pick of some to win the NL West this year.
Well, it's the year of the Giants, Brownie.
Yeah, that's an even number year. Jake Peavy gave up 4 runs in 5 innings as today's Giants starter. Alex Wood allowed 5 earned runs in 5 innings for the Dodgers. Castro puts one in the air. Gomez has it, 2 outs.
Houston Astros 28 game plans are on sale right now. Choose from either our series or weekend plans for the 2016 season. For more information, visit Astros.com, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Gregorius is 1 for 3. Yankees pounded out 17 hits last night. They have 12 more today. In tight, ball 1. The White Sox beat the Athletics in Oakland 6-1. They got 4 in the 9th. Matt Latos was the winner over Kendall Graveman. Jose Abreu hit his first homer. It's 2-0. Three balls, no strikes for Tony Sipp, who signed a new 2-year deal to stay with the Astros. He's from Pascagoula, Mississippi. In for a strike, 3-1. Tony pitched 60 times during the regular season, 6 more in the postseason. Spent the first 4 years of his career with the Indians and 1 with Arizona. In for a strike, 3-2. Speaking of the Indians, they had a postponement at home against Boston today. We were trying to remember several years ago. They had a bunch of postponements in April. Can't remember for sure what year it was.
Now that's already number 2 for the Tribe.
Yeah, they had a real backlog that one year. Gregorius with the 2-out walk keeps the inning going. That is the first walk of the game for Astros pitching. Jeff Bagwell in 2,150 games compared to Lou Gehrig in 2,164. Gehrig hit 340, hit some more homers, drove in more runs. Of course, that Bronx Bomber lineup was ridiculous with a slightly higher OPS.
I find it phenomenal when you start even being compared to Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and names of that ilk. It's got to be a highlight just hearing it for Jeff.
Yeah, that was Murderer's Row. And tremendous lineups for the Yankees back in those days. Jacoby Ellsbury 0 for 5 lifetime against Sipp. He has 2 doubles in this game, an RBI and a run scored. Runner goes. Here's a throw from the knees by Kratz. Safe at second. Stolen base for Gregorius. The Yankees 4 for 4 in stealing bases in this series.
It's not the first time we've seen Erik Kratz throw from the knees like this. Just tries to do whatever he can to get rid of it quickly. And not enough here. Too much jump against Tony. Just be heads up on the hill when that throw comes like that.
First steal of the year for Gregorius. One and one. Yeah, that Yankee lineup, Murderer's Row, was just devastating when Gehrig played.
You know, I thought when you mentioned Murderer's Row, kind of deflecting the other direction. 98 Houston Astros lineup. How about that Murderer's Row?
Excellent lineup. All those retired numbers. Out to left field. Rasmus backing on it. Makes a running catch. No runs, no hits, and a man left in the Yankee 8th. We move to the 9th inning with the score 8-5 Yankees.
the limelight. You know, I saw our team take a collective exhale from the last day in Arizona where we clinched until, you know, 24 hours later we fly to New York. We end up at Yankee Stadium for the wild card game, and there was a collective exhale. And that feeling of success and then genuine excitement towards being the only game that played that day. The entire baseball community is watching us. That feeling, I want our guys to remember what it took to get there, because we don't automatically get better when the calendar turns over. We don't automatically get better because of the experience, but we do have some things that we can grab from that season and carry with us.
There's the Skip with our Geico quote of the day, some of the message that he gave to his team in spring training and before this season was to get started, but the emotion these guys that were on this 2015 team played with throughout September when times got tough. And then, of course, what he was talking about clinching right there, the highs and the lows that they felt in the atmosphere that they started to feel at some of the ballparks, like right here at Yankee Stadium, where they had such a great fan base, and especially for those playoff games. But Ash, I wanted to ask you, is there something this team can take from that first playoff experience? If so, what is it?
Yeah, Julia, it's a terrific question, and I was listening to A.J. Hinch really adroitly responding to some of that. There are no guarantees. A lot of people think just because you did this last year that, well, it's guaranteed you're going to take a step forward this year. It's not like that at all. You have to grow with what you had last year, enjoy it, take it in, and now work harder to make it happen again. And I guess for me, that's the biggest thing I would say to that is it just requires as much or more work than you ever put in before.
Andrew Miller's in the game, the Yankee closer. He was 36 for 38 in saves last year. Now making his first appearance of 2016, pitching with a chip fracture in his right wrist. Diving, Headley can't stop it from going on through, and Carlos Gomez with a smash is on with a single. He's 2 for 4 now. And we'll get a pinch hitter, Matt Duffy, for Valbuena. Well hit ball by Gomez.
You got to start somehow, and that's a nice start. Also nice to see Carlos Gomez swinging the bat well on it this afternoon's game.
Gomez with a couple of hits. The Astros have 8 in the game. Duffy will try to keep this rally going with Tyler White on deck.
You know, I'm so impressed with A.J. Hinch. I just think he's such a bright guy. He doesn't rely on cliches, and I think he understands the realities in this game and in life, and I don't think this team could have a better leader at their helm.
MVP of the PCL last year. Duffy got a September call up. He struck out in the 9th inning last night in his first at bat of 2016. Fouls that one back, and it's 0-2 for the big 6'7" lefty Andrew Miller. Duffy had a very good spring. Miller, with 3 wins, 2 losses, held right-handed hitters to a 131 batting average last year. Big strikeout year for Miller, and he gets a punch out for out number 1. Tyler White will be next. He's driven in 4 today. 2-run homer, 2-run single, 2 for 3. There has not been any walks today by the Yankees. 1 walk by the Astros in this game. Very unusual. And for a strike on the slider. Lance McCullers likes Tyler White.
That's the impression you can get when you're on a team with a guy in the minor leagues and you watch him just destroy every style of pitching.
0-2. I asked Lance if he was going to be in Houston for the home opener Monday, and he said, well, he's scheduled to pitch that day, but he's still hoping to make it.
You know what? And the jury's still out as to whether Lance is right about Tyler White.
Miller misses, and it's 1-2. Miller's 30 years old. First round pick of Detroit in 06.
Oh, these are some kind of arms in the back end of this pen.
Line shot into right, the third hit of the game for White. And the Astros get the potential tying run to the plate. Gomez to second with a 2-strike single from White.
Are the Astros going to find a way to get Lance McCullers out on the scouting circuit in between starts? That is something. He's got that ability to stride slightly toward third base and then stay back with the hands and the head.
He is 6 for 9 to open the season.
It's a lethal combination that he's throwing up there.
Marwin Gonzalez pinch hit for Preston Tucker in the 7th inning against the lefty Chasen Shreve, and he fouled out to first base. Eric Kratz on deck. Strike one on the slider. The Astros led it 3-0 after a 3-run second. They had back-to-back homers from White and Tucker. And they led it 5-2 in the middle of the 4th. Yankees tied it with a 5th inning run after getting 2 in the 4th. They scored in 4 consecutive innings there from the 2nd through the 5th. And then the Mark Teixeira 3-run homer in the 7th gave them this 3-run lead. One ball and 1 strike. Yankees have some tall pitchers. Dellin Betances 6'8". Andrew Miller 6'7". Michael Pineda is 6'7". CC Sabathia is 6'6". Ivan Nova is 6'5". Marwin takes, and it's 2-1. He had an excellent spring.
His play almost demanded that he play every day. Then comes Tyler White.
Now he's worked the count to 3-1. Miller had a 2.84 ERA this spring. He's hit by a batted ball against the Braves March 30th. 3-2.
Well, he brings good stuff and spots it well.
The ball was lined off his right wrist. He immediately left the field. He threw his glove against the dugout wall. But then after that, he said, "I'm not going on the disabled list." Two, 2 on, 1 out in the 9th. And he got him on a slider.
That was a gutsy pitch and not in the strike zone. If taken, that loads him up. Can certainly understand how that would fool Marwin Gonzalez as he looks out to the mound.
Eric Kratz is 0 for 3. Hit the ball well in the 7th inning, deep to left field, caught by Gardner on the warning track right in front of the wall. Strike to Kratz. He was a 29th round draft choice of Toronto in 2002.
You know, Jake Marisnick still available, and he would be a guy that could have been considered as a pinch hitter right here. Of course, Jason Castro would then have to come in the game if you extended play this afternoon, but just one of those considerations.
Yeah, he and Castro are the two remaining bench players. One and two to Kratz.
Well, that slider is the dominant pitch now from Miller.
16 of his 21 pitches have been sliders. Jose Altuve's on deck. 2-2. Almost looked like he didn't come to a stop that time at the stretch.
No reason right now to be deceptive. Sometimes umpires will miss that call.
Yeah, he did. He stopped.
Well, he can flat bring it at 98.
Struck him out. Miller gets the save, and the Yankees get a come from behind win 8-5 on a 3-run 7th inning homer by Mark Teixeira to win 2 out of 3 to open their season. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left for the Astros. New York walks off the field, an 8-5 winner.